Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or morning, depending on where you're at. It's another episode of Baby Life Hacks. We have a great guest today. Her name is Sala. She's a picture book author. She's a storyteller. And Loren, what kind of coach are you?
A vulnerability coach. I help people be vulnerable and tell their open stories that they would never want to tell anyone normally.
And where do they tell them?
On stage at Taboo Tales. It's a storytelling show in LA and New York.
That's so awesome. Don't you have a podcast as
And
well?
we have a podcast. Yes, Taboo Tales podcast. It's on everywhere you can get a podcast.
And your book is You Made Me a Mother, and that's available wherever books are sold.
Wherever books are sold. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm so glad you took the time to be with us today. Just so everyone knows, you're a brand new, well, you're not a brand new mom, but you're in your first year.
Yeah, almost 5 months.
Isn't that crazy how fast it goes?
It goes so fast, and I feel like, feel like an old pro now.
Well, yeah, after 5 months, that's a lot of back.
A lot of learning and lessons, yeah, for sure.
It's a fast curve, isn't it? Yeah, and I was going to say, when you brought her home, but you didn't bring her home. You had her at home.
Had her at home. Yeah, she didn't even leave the house for a month.
That's
so I kept her in a little cave and never exposed her to anything.
Right, protected her. So
yeah.
One of the things I want to talk to you about, when you're pregnant and you're thinking about things and you're trying to imagine what's going to be like, what kind of mom am I going to be, what's this baby going to be like? What have you noticed is the difference between kind of your daydreams and the reality of being a mom?
Oh man, there's so many. I feel like when I was really anxious before having the baby, during my whole pregnancy, and probably for 30 years, I was scared to become a mom because my mom always complained about how hard it was, and every time when I was a teenager, she would be like, "Ugh, I have a teenager," and she just made it seem really hard. And then I think society also makes it seem so hard. And I don't understand why people end up having kids if we just talk so negatively about it. Yeah. So I let that get to me, and I was like, I'm going to hate it. My life's going to be changed, but it's going to be too late. And I'm never going to be able to go out to dinner again. I'm never going to have sex again. It's just, I got in my head a lot. And so now that she's here, I'm like, what was I scared about? I wish I had done it earlier. I love it so much. I don't know why people don't focus more on the good during the pregnancy part.
It's funny because I just had a guest on the other day, and I was saying, it seems like people find out you're pregnant and they go, "Oh, let me tell you what happened to me."
I know.
It's some horror story, and it's like, why are you telling me this? It's not.
Especially when you're having a home birth. They're like, "Oh, I know someone that had a home birth. Their baby died." That's my baby right there.
So that's you. They know someone's baby died.
Yeah. I actually do know someone whose baby died at a home birth too, but I mean, babies die at hospital too. It's just some things happen. Actually, the U.S. has a pretty high maternal death rate,
it's a pretty scary place to give birth in our country. Yeah. And I've known that for years. And it's funny because people come from other countries to give birth to, and they're like,
I know.
Not so much. Maybe not so much. So what else was a lot simpler? She's fine.
She's fine. Yeah. This is a good mothering right now. Shut up. Hold on.
There you go.
See, motherhood's fun.
It's so fun, isn't it?
It is. I mean, even though it
she doesn't sound mad. She sounds funny.
Even though it is hard because things like this happen and you have to schedule childcare, it's still fun. There she is. See, hi.
She's so gorgeous.
How worth it is.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what tell us a little bit about your your last couple weeks when everyone, and this is what I try and tell people that are pregnant, I just want the baby to be here, and it's like, nah, slow down.
Yeah.
Enjoy it because it's on autopilot right now. It changes its own diapers, it's fed automatically. Yeah. So what were your last couple of weeks anticipation like?
Yeah, well, she was a week late, so I was doing everything to get her here. Which you're right, it doesn't have to be that way. You should just take as long as you go to Target alone and just relax and have lots of brunches and just hang out. But I think because of, well, I feel like I ended up going with a midwife and having that home birth, not because I planned it, but because my doctor was very fear-based.
Yeah,
So
fear-mongering, I call that.
So much fear in birth. And so my doctor was just like, this could happen, and the rates of this is happening is high, and you're old. And so
I was going to just say, because you had a geriatric.
I did. I'm so old. Which I didn't mind, because then all the genetic testing was free. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bonus.
But, so I was just scared. I wanted her to come because they induce you after 14 days, or depending on your doctor.
Yeah,
but
I don't let you
midwife 14 days. Even the doctor's probably like
doctor right now. Yeah.
yeah. So that's why I was nervous. I was just, get her out naturally, please. But yeah, you could totally just savor those last few days. If I had to do it over again, I would have not tried it. I was like going to acupuncture and taking hikes, and you can just relax, really.
Right. Yeah. So I had I had my second one at home as well. And I had this really convincing round of false labor. And my midwife lived in Long Beach. And to get from Long Beach to Redlands is
Oh my God.
scary. So she got here, and, I had been taking the blue and black cohosh, and like we're doing all this. I'm walking around the neighborhood all night with my doula. And I get to a point, I'm like, I'm so tired. I just need to lay down for a minute. And they're like, good, lay down. I woke up 8 hours later, no whisper, no doula. The house was empty. Everyone was gone. And I was so devastated, like, wait, what? And I went 7 more days before I went to labor. And of course, then she didn't make it because I gave birth to this 9-pound, 8-ounce baby in 3 hours. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's the bowling ball coming down. I'd prefer it a little slower next time.
Oh, really?
There's no next time for me, but yeah.
Hey.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. How are you? What's going on?
Okay, bye. We're on a video call.
That's her beautiful husband, Sam, who is a dear.
Thank you, family. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, this is so fun. This is probably the funnest interview. So I know what you're saying. Like, I was really upset about that last week too, but it really gave me time to prepare, and just like, it's not in my hands. Control's an illusion. You got to let go. You got to relax.
It's really hard. I'm a very controlling person. Yeah. I'm like, wait, I planned for this date. Why isn't it going according to my plan?
I love first-time moms.
I know.
You're so like, I know everything. We're like, you don't know anything.
That's true. And you know what else? I convinced myself, like, oh, people say that babies have sleeping problems, but mine's not going to. And, you just convince yourself that things are going to go way better for you, but no.
Yeah, no. That's so funny. Yeah, it's a learning curve of like letting go, right?
Yeah.
And just letting things take off. So, okay, so you finally went into labor. What was that experience like?
Oh, painful. It was.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, it was painful, but not as much as I thought. In TV, it's just one thing. Yeah. I loved it at home because I could be in whatever position I wanted, and that was really helpful. I was basically just like on my hands and knees. I didn't want to do anything else but be on my hands and knees. And my team helped me, and they helped me move rooms, but stay on my hands and knees. So it was great. It wasn't that long either. My water broke at 11 in the morning, and then by 2 in the morning, she was here. But I was only in active labor for like 4 hours, which,
that's nice.
Yeah, and it was intense. But then the minute it was over, I was like, this is the best thing ever. I felt so empowered. I felt like this is what being a woman's all about. I felt like I could do anything. Like, I just felt like wild and like animalistic, and it was pretty cool. I want to do it again already.
Well, don't forget, like 4th grade's a lot of homework, so space them out a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
I wanted twins though, so that they could just do it together. But oh well.
Yeah, that's one way. I had this friend or this client I had years ago, and she was a single mom. She had a baby. She loved it. She immediately got pregnant again. loved it. And I'm like, you might want to slow down because when they get into school, it gets really complicated. Like, I'm warning you. And she had 4. I saw her a couple years later after she'd had the 4th as a single mom, and she had them all in the shopping cart.
Oh my God.
And I was like, how's it going? You still love it? And she's like, you're so right. It's so hard. Like, I should have slowed down. Like, I felt so bad for her. But yeah, so having more is good. I'm glad you still want to have more, but.
Oh yeah. But yeah, maybe not 4, maybe 2, maybe just,
right?
Or maybe adopt.
2 hands, 2 kids. That's how I did it. Yeah. Okay. So you, I guess you had a doula then, right?
Had a doula, had a whole team. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great. Were any family or friends in attendance?
Nope, just my husband. No, I told my mom. So we observed the 40 days of waiting period. That's like common in Asian cultures. And I just kind of basically wanted to do that so that my mom wouldn't come. It was like an excuse so that I said, no, can't have any visitors for 40 days, which was great. I think I really wanted to just experience motherhood myself before getting any influences from her. But we got a postpartum doula, and that was really helpful.
Right. That is so
the wraps. Yeah, it was nice. Somebody that's not like invested in the baby.
Yeah.
Like a grandma to me was what I really needed. But everyone's different.
Yeah, everyone is different. I can't stress the importance. I never did a postpartum doula. There's many reasons why, but looking back, that would have been so tremendously helpful because the day after I had the second one at home, my husband just got up and went to work and left me home alone.
Oh my God, really?
I was like, okay, I got it. I don't got it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, well, you know my story, but yeah, it was a trying time for sure. So
that's scary. I know a lot of women who are too scared for months to be alone with 2 babies because it's so hard.
It is hard.
And you did the day 1.
Yeah, I won't go into my story because it might lead to fear mongering, but yeah. They're both healthy. I'm healthy, and nothing too
and happy. Yeah.
Right. How much did she weigh? How big was she?
Well, they didn't weigh her until she pooped 4 times, so it's not fair, but 8 pounds and 2 ounces.
It's a pretty good first time baby.
Yeah, no medicine. I think I'm pretty proud of myself.
Right. Yeah. I want to go back a little bit to your warrior feeling because that's so exactly how I felt when I had my home birth.
That's so great.
Yeah. And I just remember thinking, because I had a hospital intervention birth. Connor was a month early. My water broke. My labor didn't start. So that was it wasn't a difficult labor. It just wasn't what I wanted. So I swore it off, like, I'm never doing this again in a hospital. And I remember having Parker, and I was like, I can feel him move through my body. Like, the baby's gonna be here in 10 minutes. The midwife's not here. You guys better figure out what the heck's going on. It's just such a neat experience. And I had that same feeling after, like roaring.
Yeah, like you could do anything. It's like, I'm not scared of anything anymore. If I could do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's so awesome. And how was Sam during all of that?
He was great. We went to a birthing class, which was really helpful. And the woman, Britta, she'd be a great guest for your show. Britta Bushnell, she's a PhD, and she had us do really cool exercises like he held his hands in ice while I had a contraction and stuff. So we had prepared really well for him helping me and me feeling like empathy for what he's going to have to go through, because it's not just a one person thing. I mean, he has to sit there and watch someone that he loves in pain. So
that's a great point. That's what I taught a lot in my series is like the dads, and there's such great meaningful, like they want to help, right? Yeah. And there's absolutely nothing they can do really but massage your back and do as they're told. And I think that is maybe something new parents aren't prepared for the dad to be like, I really have to watch this woman that I love and cherish, and not, you have to go through struggle by yourself.
Really helpless. Yeah. They can't do anything. And I was so mad at him. I'm like, I was like, any contraction, I was like, say so, tell me that I can do anything for a minute. It's only a minute. Just keep saying that out loud. And then he would keep saying that, and I'd be like, tell me something different. You keep repeating it. But he did great. And I held his hand during the final push, and he did say that it hurt. when I squeeze his hand.
Oh,
Really.
yeah. Well, it's, that very end period where you're like, okay, there's only one way out of this situation, and it's to embrace that pain.
Exactly. You gotta go as soon as you're like, well, the only thing I can do is just go through.
Right. And
no turning back.
With my first son, I was in the hospital, and I felt very like no one told me, like the childbirth educator was like, so there's going to be some discomfort with your labor pains. And I'm like, I'm a runner. I'm strong.
Yeah.
I got this. And then I got in there, and the real contractions started hitting. And I thought, no one told me this. I'm not prepared for this. And I had that realization of like, I have to go through this. I can't get out of this body. Like, I'm stuck. I have to go through this. And it was such an overwhelming feeling. But at the same time, anything, as you go through it, and it's like, wow, I'm way better than I thought I was.
Yeah. But it is a scary thought when you're like, there's no turning back. Oh my God.
Right.
We all reached that point.
Yeah. If only they came out as comfortably and beautifully as they go in.
I know. Going in is so fun.
Going in is really fun and a lot more easy, right?
Yeah.
So funny. So how did you deal with your contractions? Everyone deals with it a little bit different. I was really silent, and I wanted everyone to be silent. And somebody was like, had come in the room after they ate a sandwich, and they were like, and I was like,
I was silent too. Yeah. I made a playlist, but I just never, I was not even like aware of, people could have been like doing ballet, and I wouldn't even have known. I was just like so in my world.
Right.
I was just mentally, it was all head game. Like, you can do this for a minute. You can do this. It's only a minute. It's only a minute.
Right. And I remember my nurse saying, you're doing so good, because I was really quiet and withdrawn. Like I was inside, And I just remember in my head, I wanted to just hit her, like, shut up. You have no idea what's going on in here. It might look calm out here, but in here, it's nutso.
Yeah, that's just all I was doing, is just talking myself. Like, well, you're probably the same thing we do, like long distance running, or it's just like telling yourself you can do it and just.
Right. Yeah. I had a long run mantra is I say dig. It's my mantra when I'm running. Because out here in Redlands, there's a lot of hills, so I hill train a lot, and you really do have to like dig up this hill. So, yeah. It would be fun for me to, it wouldn't really be fun for me, but it would be fun for me with all my knowledge base and everything now to have another baby.
Yeah, I think it could be really fun.
That factory's long been out of commission. For sure. So what was the funniest thing that you experienced either in labor or new motherhood? Like, what did you just be like, this was the funniest thing that happened to me?
Oh my God, there's a lot of stuff.
Well, tell them all.
Well,
fun stuff.
Just the other day I said, oh, hi, and I held her up and she puked right all over my face. One thing during the birth was the placenta delivery. She made me get out of the bed. I guess the midwife kind of knew what was coming. She made me get on a stool. She's like, don't worry, it's going to feel like a warm tampon coming out. Just push. It's going to be fine, I promise. And I pushed, and a gallon of blood just came out all over the floor, and I just watched her white socks just turned red. It was like blood everywhere. And I was in such a euphoria. I thought it was the funniest thing. I just started laughing. It was kind of cool. I'd never seen that much blood before. It was a surprise. It was a nice color, but it was really funny. Especially now looking back. But just, like her smiles, her everything she does is so funny. She farts all the time, and we just crack up because she's just so vulnerable.
It's so funny when a baby does it. It's not that funny when my husband does it.
I know. I just love that she's so comfortable. Like, she hasn't learned any shame, so she's just herself, which is my favorite thing, and it's funny and beautiful, and it's really cool.
I think it's really great in babies, like especially that age where they're not walking yet, and they're, so when they're like on the ground or something and they're happy, like every fiber, their legs are kicking, they're like, I'm so happy right now. Like, they're just pure happiness in every aspect.
I know. We can learn a lot from them, for sure. It's teaching me a lot.
You have no idea. Wait till she's 20.
Oh
You'd be
no.
like, man, I learned a lot in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
You have to learn new language, the teenager slang. You have to learn what are the street drugs that are called, bath salts, all this weird
Uh-oh.
stuff. You're like, I wouldn't know any of this without kids on the road. So how was the first 48 hours?
Oh, you're just like, hi.
Yeah.
I thought that it was like doing bath salts. Not bath salts.
I know what they are, but I've never done them.
Me neither. I never did. But I did do a few little drugs in college, and they felt like that's how I was on.
Like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's funny. Did you sleep? I didn't sleep for a long time. I was like up.
I was so tired. I think we slept for 4 hours, and then me and my husband, we slept with her right in the middle of us, and we woke up like looking at each other like, look!
Christmas morning.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
great.
it wasn't a real good sleep. It was just like an exhaustion sleep. And then we were like, oh, let's look at her again. Let's look at her again. It was really fun. Pardon?
Has your mom seen her yet?
She came, I think she's seen her twice now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Good. I mean, I love my mom as a grandma. She's a great grandma. So that's cool. She's very,
Motherly.
she likes to play.
Grandma.
Yeah.
My mom was a good grandma too, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't tell her I had the baby though. And she lives 2 states away. She lives in Utah.
When did you tell her?
I think, well, with the first one she knew, and she was a surgery tech. So she was like working in the hospital where she lives and she couldn't get away. So I didn't mind telling her. But the second one, I think it was a couple of days because they get crazy.
Yeah. You need a couple of days.
Yeah, I needed some time before I had to deal with all of that. But yeah. And
yeah, family dynamics. There's like, there's just lots of stuff there. Whereas you don't want to deal with the stuff. You want to be with your little baby. So my advice to any new mom would be, even if you do have a great relationship with your parent, just take time alone with the baby and get to know that person first. I don't know.
Right. Well, I think they call that the baby moon, just like you would take time to be alone, with your spouse.
Yeah.
Enjoy the baby. Yeah. I remember telling people, yeah, you can bring me dinner tonight. Just leave it on the porch and ring the bell.
I
They're
know.
like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, no one's coming in.
I know. And you got to really learn to set boundaries when you have a baby because people are just knocking down your door.
Right. And my other one was like, yeah, you can hold him, but don't kiss him.
Yeah, don't kiss him. Just touch her feet.
Yeah, I don't know where your mouth's been. I don't trust your mouth. Put it on my cute little baby. I don't know what you're packing over there. Yeah. So, what has surprised you the most? Probably. Well, I'm not gonna lead into it. I'm gonna let you. What has surprised you absolutely the most about being a mother?
I think just how much it takes over your not everybody's, I don't know, idea about what I want to do with my life. And it's just like completely priority changing. And
Isn't
I didn't realize that it was good. I was just like, oh, I'm going to put this stuff on hold and get back to it as soon as I have the baby. And now I'm like, wait, maybe I don't even want to do that. Maybe I need to, it's just like, it's such an upheaval that I didn't realize it was going to be. I always said I was going to not be that person. I'm not going to let a baby change my life. No way. I'm still going to go out to dinner.
I really love this little thing.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I want to. Yeah.
I remember having Connor and I just was crying and crying. He's probably like a day or two old. And I was looking at him and I was thinking, I've never loved anything in my life. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. It dawned on me, like, I've never felt this. And I started crying thinking about, like, what if he's mean to me when he's a teenager? And I was so emotional. I just had a baby, right? But,
yeah, of course.
I had all these racing thoughts in my head, and it does change you. I had a nice career. I had my condo, my Mercedes. I sold everything and drove this, like, 84 junky Honda Accord, so I didn't have to go back to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was crying today because I don't want to go back to work.
Yeah. It's a game changer.
It totally is. And it's in the good way, which I never thought. Yeah.
Yeah. I did. I interviewed Chloe Joe. She's from Girly Girl Army. And she said, I don't know if that's part of the interview. It might be the after part. But she was saying, I drank enough for everybody in my 20s. Once I had kids, I never never touched another thing. I was like, this is what I'm doing for the next 15 years. And she just like really devoted herself to motherhood. And she lives on the Upper East Side where everyone has nannies. And the nannies are like, hey, you do it our way. Hey, you. So yeah, it does have a huge sweeping like change.
Yeah.
Your perspective is so totally different. And so my next question was about work and nannies.
Yeah.
What are you still in that, like, I'm figuring it out phase?
Totally. We have a nanny once a week, but it just makes me feel so sad to have someone else raise my baby. It's like,
Well, take it easy. Once a week, still raising the baby.
I know, but I'm going to have to work more often.
Right.
And so 1 day a week's already hard for me because I'm like, even though I'm sometimes in the house, I'm like, wait, I do that differently. It's another lesson in letting go.
Okay, so this is a great topic. I'm glad you said that. So over the years and all the consulting I've done, the moms will say, that's not, and they're correcting the dad, they're correcting grandma, they're correcting, like, this is how I do it. And I think it's really important for women to know, like, we all need teachers, and every single teacher is phenomenal. And, it's like the story of the 4-year-old saying, no, that's not how mom packs my lunch. And, he puts the potato chips inside the jelly sandwich. Like, that's how dad does it, It's really great for kids to figure out different ways. And when people do things differently, it really is.
Totally. I'm all for my husband's interpretations of whatever it is. And Britta, the teacher I was telling you about, has always says, you're going to be in the same chapter, but you're never going to be on the same page. So you have to just take that and accept it. However, there are certain things that I'm like taking classes about, and I'm doing a lot of RIE stuff and learning how to give my baby independent play so that she develops her self-esteem. And so there are things that like counteract that.
Right. And how this bridges perfectly into housekeeping and taking care of the house as a newborn. And
oh yeah.
What's that like versus what you thought it was going to be? I know before I had kids, I'd be like, who would have people over to their house when their bathroom's a disaster? Like, I couldn't believe people would let me in their house, and their house is that shape. Now you have kids, and I'm like, I got a baby. Yeah, I guess I'll dust in 5 years.
Oh, well, that's a good question for you then. Does it get better?
Yes, because at some point they can load and unload.
Yeah, okay, good.
Well, you've seen some of my Facebook posts and my rants about the dishwasher will be empty and all the dirty dishes will be stacked in the sink. And I'm like, what? I don't understand this. But yeah, so another thing I in that control issue and the housekeeping is, when you get help or like dad does laundry, it's okay that the laundry's, hanging inside out in the closet. The towels are folded not the way you would fold them. Are you good with accepting that?
Oh yeah, that stuff you got to let go for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Right. You can't. You just physically and emotionally can't do all of it.
Right, unless you want to stay up super late, which I'm doing, working already super late, and there's just no way. No way you can get it all done. You got to let go.
You got to let go. Well, I've said it many times, Demi Moore says, kids cure perfection.
She said that? That's good.
When she had her first. Yeah. I remember reading that in Vanity Fair on that, her cover. I lived in New York City at the time, and I was on the subway reading that, and I was like, what does that mean? Now I'm like, oh, I totally know what that means. Yeah, that's awesome. Gosh, I had one more question. What was I going to ask? Can we talk a little bit about romance?
Sure.
So what was that like? You said, I thought I'd never have sex again. And the reality is you probably have.
Well, it definitely does change your relationship. I mean, we sometimes are just like going through logistics all day, and you have to really work at being like, no, I still see you as attractive, and like yesterday was Valentine's Day. I don't know if it's okay to say what day we're filming, but
Okay.
the other day was Valentine's Day, and he made a romantic date and planned a babysitter, which was really sweet. I didn't even realize, like, I didn't know he was doing it. So you just don't really work at it. And then the sex part, I mean, it takes a while, but you got to get creative.
You definitely got to I'll get you my top 10 list of how to get some
Yes,
hot
thank
action
you.
in the sack after the baby. Actually, it's pretty good. It's actually more for men. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. I'll share it with him.
Yeah. No, when I wrote it, my husband's like, hey, I like this list. So, all right. Well, that's pretty much all the time we have for today, Loren. Any last, like, new mommy nuggets of information?
I'm just learning as I go, and I appreciate your reminder to just let go and just don't be a perfectionist. So that's what I'm taking away from this. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
An absolute treat. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me. Next time I'll wear makeup.
No worries. You're a mom. You can wear that like 10 years. Save it for date night. All right. Love you. See you later.
Okay, bye.